All right, we got 12 orders going out. Some pretty good stuff, actually. It's about, I don't know, $350 in sales that occurred. Would have been on Tuesday. I have 2-day handling, so we'll go over those, and then we'll talk about a big change that I'm making in my business. The way I make money, because it isn't even the same as resale. It's related, but I think you're gonna like to hear about it.
Before we go into that, let's talk about the rundown of orders. So cheap DVD, sports cards, cheap book, sports card, PC game. Then this, $100 for a handy cam. Relatively high sports cards. 2 Sega Saturn games going to an international buyer. And that's a sealed Wii game. And then they're shipping on top of all this. So I think we're at about, $300 and some revenue. Pretty good Tuesday. Hopefully we'll be above the $20,000 90-day eBay mark soon. eBay's or Amazon's going good. So I think what I'll show you out of this is this one, and just those 3. Here are the cards I sold on Tuesday. We got 4 of them. We've got Ricky Waters rookie. It's a cool card. Joe Montana Chronicles draft pick. That's a new release. And then a 2021 score Tom Brady base. And then this is the one that sold for about $13. Pink Phoenix parallel. Thought it was a Prism. Did not see Prism on there. But I got about $13 for that card. This one sold for about $3 to $3.50. So pretty good for just cards that I got out of. This came out of a blaster box. That came out of a $20 score blaster box. This came out of a $6 or $7 fat pack. And this came out of a bulk buy. So not bad. Here's the rest of the orders. These are all just, boring, basic, who really cares? These are the things that are worth talking about. So the first is these 2 Sega Saturn games, Bug 2 and X-Men Children of the Atom. This is an arcade game. This is the sequel to Bug. I think it's a platformer, a 3D platformer. A well-known and loved game. So one thing about this buyer is I already crossed his name out, so I actually am gonna probably should only show a few names. Right there. So it's going to 1821 150th Avenue, AUH 8462 Springfield Gardens, New York. That's a freight forwarder, which means this is an international buyer having it sent to this address, and then it's being forwarded to Abu Dhabi. I know that because AUH is Abu Dhabi's airport code. And the buyer also has an Arabic name. So he's purchasing these, and then they're being forwarded to him across the world, and that's going to save him on sales tax, and that's what kind of why I have his name crossed out, because he's not paying duty potentially. But because he's doing that, that means a few things. One, there is basically no chance I'll get a return, because the return label is going to go to that Springfield Gardens address, which is not where he lives. He's gonna have to ship it back to me from Abu Dhabi, which he's not gonna do. And secondly, one thing I'm doing in this Bug 2 case, there was remember from the last video I made about these games? It's kind of already closed. You can see right there what I'm talking about. So that little bit of pink, that's bubble wrap. That Bug 2 case does not have this foam insert, which keeps the disc from popping out because there's a little bit of gap there. So I put some bubble wrap in there just to make sure that it gets there safely, because I would hate to spend almost $200 on some video games and to get them broken. Now, secondly, this Sony DCR TRV 350. It's a handy cam, I think is it a handy cam? Yeah, digital handy cam, digital 8. So the important thing about this is, one, I tested it using just some batteries I have here. I sold it without battery, and I said it only turns on. I have not tested for playback, but the likelihood of it not playing back is pretty low. If it turns on, it probably pays back. And that's why I think it was purchased. It was bought by a guy who works for a news station in Kansas City, or around Kansas City. And the reason they buy these is because you hook this up to a computer with that mini DV cord, wherever the input is, and you hook it up to your computer, and you can take 8mm tapes that go in right here. Is there one in there? I don't even know. They go in right there, and then oftentimes a lot of security tapes or news media or just digital media from the early 2000s was archived on these digital 8 tapes. And so that's why they buy these. This sold for $100. If I had accessories, if I had a battery, it could have gone for closer to $200. But I think I even may have picked this up in a thrift haul video. I paid $8 for it, and it sold in 2 or 3 days. And that's the kind of numbers that I like doing. Everything else, just, whatever, bulk buys, pays the bills. This is the fun stuff to sell, these 2 things.
All right, now we've got all of our orders packed and ready to go to UPS and the post office. And so we can talk about the business strategy aspect of this video that I think is going to be applicable to you no matter what you really do. If you're an online entrepreneur or any kind of entrepreneur trying to start a business, make a business, this is gonna matter to you because it's universal. And it's based on the idea of standardizing processes. So like you're always gonna hear people say, oh, focus on one thing. Focus selling on one thing in the context of resale. Focus on clothes, focus on DVDs, focus on books. And it's not because that there's any actual advantage in only selling one thing. Like if you sell 1,000 books on eBay, you don't get lower fees. But what does occur, or what you are allowed to do, is you can outsource work much more easily when it's a standardized process. And I've gone through hiring people a few times. When I had the candy subscription business, I had in-person employees, and it was a nightmare. I did not like it, would not recommend it. There's too much to worry about in terms of, for me, everyone's different, obviously. If you're really organized and like this kind of detailed work and like you like, going over emails and poring over details and mediating conversations, by all means, manage people. That's what you're going to have to do. But what I like more than trying to have people in the warehouse, which, you think it's going to be easy because I'll just tell them what to do. It's not how it works. For me, it's much easier to use freelancers, people who are strictly on a contract basis, and that's tough when you give someone a schedule. They're not contract employees anymore. But when you can create processes that can be standardized so anyone can do it on any schedule, and you have a real contract freelancer, for me, I think that's when scaling up gets a lot easier. So what am I doing in terms of using freelancers to increase my scaling of my business and my income, really? Because it isn't all one thing. So in terms of eBay, what I'm doing is I'm trying to move away entirely from creating any drafts for listings. I don't create drafts as is, but just for the sake of the conversation, let's say I did create drafts and then I did publish them. I'm uploading all of the photos to a shared server with my virtual assistants, and then they take the photos, and then based on the information that I've attached to the larger photos, or at least the photos at large, so like they'll download a folder, and in that folder is going to be all the photos plus some basic directions. Because of that process, I can now list, an unlimited amount of things a day. If I have 10,000, maybe 10,000 is a bit too much, but you know what I'm saying. Like if I have 1,000 photos I take in one day, or 1,000 listings, so let's say 4,000 photos. Let's say I'm able to somehow automate that process where I have an assembly line that just moves things down the line, and it takes a photo and then it uploads that photo to a folder on a shared server, and the virtual assistant gets that photo off the server. They create a draft, and then using the information I give them, they give it a title, they fill in the basic custom information. So like if it was books, for example, title, topic, title, author, language are the only required categories you have to have. All of that stuff I can now outsource, and I've taught a few people to do it. So it's, because it's a standardized process and because these are contract workers, it's getting easier and easier for me just to upload the photos. And in this scenario, a machine does it. I'd love to be there. Have them create the listings, have them just put a basic price. And then I go through, and because I have what I think the most valuable knowledge you can have as a reseller is a basic idea of what things are worth without having to go through and individually price things out. Like, so let's say I know pretty much any video game that I'm listing. If it's like, if I'm buying a lot of video games and I've already sorted them out and I've already taken photos, most of those games are going to be either going for, like for example, market price on like Super Smash Bros. Or whatever, where that does take a little bit of research. But like if I sell, a basic racing game, or if I sell like Call of Duty or games that have like a relatively consistent demand, I can price those for between, including shipping, $7.95 to $9.95, and they're going to sell. Of course, there are lower sales, and of course, you're seeing some people who sell their games for around $5 free shipping. But more often than not, if I'm selling them on eBay, I can get about that price for them, which is really good, really easy. And so I say, okay, as long as I'm within $1, if I'm losing $1 per sale because I could be pricing my games higher, I don't really care about that if it means I can list 5 times as many, because in the grand scheme of things, I'm making more money that way. So there's like the lower tier of Wii titles, the lower tier of Xbox titles, the lower tier of PlayStation 4 or 3 titles, and then there's the games that I know need like specific research, and I just have that in my head. And that's a really valuable skill if you're a reseller, is having that intimate market knowledge, which is another reason you should specialize in an area. Again, not because you get some kind of numerical benefit because you sold so much. That'd be cool if you did, but because it allows you to perform the skill-based tasks so much faster. So if I can do the skill-based tasks myself, and I mean, even I could train someone, that would be a lot more difficult. But if I do that myself, or I have someone who's close to me doing that, and then I have contract employees doing the basics, like basically they're creating the picture frame, I'm painting the picture. It still takes time to paint a picture, but if you have everything else done for you, you can just quickly go through and like, so the example I'll use is I was on vacation from Friday until Tuesday evening. I did not do any eBay work besides in the morning when everybody else is asleep. I'd go through and publish 20 to 50 drafts that were made by a virtual assistant. They had all the stuff taken care of. They had the title, the pictures, whatever. And I went through, and did I underprice some things? Did I overprice some things? Yeah, probably by 10 or 15%. I'm sure that happened. But that all gets ironed out in the details by doing 2 things. One, offering intermittent promotions. So I'm going to run 15, 25, and 50% discounts based on what the item is and based on how long it's been in my store for, as well as putting offers on all of my listings. So by doing those 2 things, you're mitigating the damage caused from overpricing items. There's still the issue with underpricing items, but again, by scaling up using outsourced work, it really ends up being a net gain, even though if you're looking at the individual basis, you're losing some money. So that's an awesome way that you can standardize that process to make more money in your resale business. But it's applicable to pretty much, any business I would do. I'm always talking through the bias of my own personal lens, so keep that in mind. But like another thing I'm doing right now, because I had so much free time when I was on vacation, of course I work a little bit, and I'm going to make a video on this as a standalone video. I'm completely outsourcing a YouTube video. So I'm the producer, basically. I come up with the topic. I paid someone, it's already in the works, I purchased several from them, several scripts, several voiceovers, and then several, I don't know how they're going to do it. I haven't seen the videos yet, but they're either going to be whiteboard videos or they're going to be videos that are a combination of whiteboard and a lot of stock footage. So I'm buying in bulk. I'm saying, hey, I want to buy a bunch of scripts from you. I want you to do a bunch of voiceover work for me. What's your bulk price? And again, by standardizing what I need from them, so in one case, it's, okay, I need about 3,000 words from you. In another case, it's I need YouTube quality audio that we're going to use to create this video. By creating those specific roles, I'm able just to use the money I have to create videos. Is the video going to be good? The first one? I don't know. Maybe. It might be. But more importantly than how good the first video actually is I'm experimenting with this role as YouTube producer. I'm taking the skills that I've learned from doing 5 years of YouTube video in front of the screen, and I'll still be doing stuff in front of the screen, but I'm trying to scale up using my special knowledge. The knowledge of one of the channels I'm making is going to be about e-commerce, and it's going to be 15 to 25 minute videos about various e-commerce topics that I find helpful, that I personally don't want to spend 9 or 15 hours on making a video, because that's what it would take, honestly. If I were to make a 20-minute video, the first one coming up is alternatives to eBay. And I'm just trying to find topics that are commonly searched. I read over the script, I tweak the details so I know it's accurate, and then someone reads it, and then someone creates the actual video for it. We'll see what happens, but if I can use the knowledge I have about e-commerce to easily scale up and, for $5,000 produce 50 videos a year, that could be an extremely lucrative business. And again, what I'm essentially doing is providing a service. These videos are a service, entertainment as a service, more or less. At least that's the way I'm approaching it. I mean, obviously I'm taking some liberties with the way the buzzwords I'm using to describe it, but I'm treating this as any other business, just with a free product. Free meaning YouTube is free to watch. That's where I'm at. That's how I'm changing my business. That's the interesting stuff. In the Patreon group and on my Gumroad Macro Micro subscription, I uploaded a longer video talking about this. That's what I'll be doing on those things. I'm bringing back Patreon. I'm pushing my Macro Micro more. But instead of actual written articles, I'm going to be putting special subscriber-only content on there. So if you're curious about the behind the scenes of all these different entrepreneurial ventures that I'm pursuing, and I'm going to keep doing this. I'm still going to keep making consumer videos like this, where it's like, oh, it's fun to read this, fun to listen to this kind of stuff. It's more just like vlogging. It's more about that kind of stuff. There's going to be challenges. But if you want to learn about the other 90% of ways that I make money, I would really encourage you joining that Patreon or doing the Macro Micro, because there's going to be, if you've made it this far in the video, obviously you care about what I'm saying. And for, $10 a month or whatever it costs, I have a hard time believing that you're not going to get 100 times the value just by listening to my story and then applying it to your own life. Thanks for watching, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you like this stuff. If you're new, if I still have your attention, subscribe. I'm going to be making a lot of vlog content like this here. And I'll see you guys later.